Hello Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here and welcome to the channel. And welcome to another episode of My Collecting Life, the series where I get to speak to you, members of the toy collecting community, about your own personal collections, finding out what got you into collecting in the first place and what gives you that toy collecting buzz. So the question on everybody's lips is, who is this week's guest? Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we find out and let's take a look at some of their collection in a musical montage. Okay, yet again, another absolutely fantastic collection, but I wouldn't class this as a collection, more like a shop. It is my pleasure to welcome Joe and Gav to the channel for the first time from Vintage Toy Shop, or Leicester Vintage Toy Shop. Hello, sir. How are you guys?
We're all right. It is a shop.
Yeah.
It's not more. It is definitely a shop.
It's definitely a shop. I know this is awesome. You're speaking live from the shop as we talk now. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
we're absolutely fantastic.
But it's been today, so we've not got many customers, so it might be quiet. But we've got lots.
No, that's all right.
Having cups of tea.
Thank you for taking the time. Really appreciate you guys taking the time. So I just want to start off by saying I said to you in the green room that bald men are really handsome. I stand by that. The three of us. Wow. Awesome stuff.
People aren't going to be able to handle this.
No.
They won't.
We'll all be craving salted peanuts now. They're on my telly.
Awesome stuff.
I have to watch them.
Oh dear. No, I'm over the moon chatting to you guys. So thank you very much. Basically, I've got 10 questions for you, all about you, your collections, and obviously your shop and your channel. So let's crack on with the first one. What are your childhood memories, and what toy lines were you both into?
Well,
Well, I'll start. For me,
Well, your childhood memories.
just like, yeah, for me, I don't have any childhood memories. I don't have memories past yesterday. But Star Wars, it was all Star Wars at that time, wasn't it? Like everyone was into Star Wars.
I don't know why you're asking me. I wasn't there. We weren't born. We're not actually.
This has not been a lifelong thing.
No, this is
But
like.
no, Star Wars, my very first toy that I remember was a little R2D2, which I still have today. It's got one leg, no sticker. He's the right rough state. But, it's my first R2.
Yeah, I love it. I love that.
Wow.
It's legendary. That
And it was
R2.
all Star Wars and space toys and all the 80s, all the good 80s stuff.
There's a lot of good stuff in the 80s.
Yeah.
I had older brothers and sisters, so a lot of my toy influences came from what they liked as well. Mine were like adults by the time I was born. So the next one up from me is 21 years older. And by the time I was born, it was, I'd sort of got a few of their old toys.
Was it like hula hoops, spinning tops?
Yeah, that sort of thing.
A steel,
Yeah,
a steel hoop and a stick.
you were lucky. It was fun, and my first toy. I've still got one of my first toys. It's one of the only things I've got from my childhood. It's a wooden Galt Toys wooden milk float, which is green with yellow milk on it.
And you wouldn't know it was a milk float.
No.
It looks like a little wooden block that someone's put together.
It looks rubbish, but it's sturdy.
I find it remarkable that you still have some of your toys, if not all of them, from your childhood. I don't have any from my childhood, and that's one regret that I do have within my collection. I mean, what does it mean to you when you can look at those toys and think, yeah, I had these as a kid?
Oh, it's great. I do. I think back to like the little battles I had on my lounge carpet, propping up the mat with a couple of pencils, make a little cave. Yeah. Oh, great times.
Yeah, 10 years. It was 32. That was. I've only got that one thing, so everything else of mine. But I have found, weirdly enough, years ago I was buying stuff, and because people used to write on things, and I bought this book, and in the front of the book, and it was just out of random lot. And it got my sister-in-law. It got her address and her pre-married name from when she was a kid. So I had this book for quite a while. But no, I haven't got anything really apart from that Galt Toys wooden milk float that doesn't look like a milk float, and the milk's gone yellow.
And I've got almost all of my good toys.
He's a weirdo.
No, that's cool. Like I say, I really do wish I had at least one item of my childhood from my toys, because I can look at my Star Wars vintage and I think, yeah, that's fantastic. It takes me back to my childhood. But none of them were mine. I've had to re-get them because obviously I sold mine off as a younger kid and stuff like that. So it was just literally Star Wars, and that was it for you, Gab. There was no G.I. Joe, no Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. Star Wars was the main thing and the first thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the popular 80s stuff. Yeah,
he's got everything.
I had a few. Yeah, He-Man, Thundercats, Transformers.
You were so spoiled, weren't you?
But like monster toys, Mad Balls, that kind of thing. That was my real love.
Yep. Basically, Gav's entire toy collection could fill this shop. And again, it's ridiculous. And that's a lot of that's from childhood.
A lot of it is childhood.
You've been buying toys your entire life.
I have never stopped buying toys because me and my family were going to car boots when I was a real little kid, when car boots were great. And I was buying toys then. I was buying them for myself, but I never got rid of any.
I had a bit of time off for girls and beer.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my next question. When did you guys stop playing with your toys and become collectors?
He hasn't.
Not applicable.
I stopped when I was riding BMX when I was about 14, 15, every day I was out riding. So I wasn't bothered about my toys so much then. I had to sell some of my toys to pay for I remember a GT headstock I had to buy. I had to pay that. I had to sell some toys for that, and then the rest of them got given away through the family. So I stopped then when I had my first child, which was in 1999. I had my first son, Oscar, and when he was born, I went, toys aren't as good as they used to be. And then started looking for my own toys, and that's how it happened. And then I bought a lot in it was probably about 2002 by the time I started really selling toys. And by 2004, it became a real bug. I loved it. I loved buying and selling toys as a part-time thing. So I was fueling my collection like a lot of us do, like a lot of us collectors do. You would buy stuff and then it got out of hand. and I got married again to a different person to the first one.
Well, thank you for clarifying that. Cheers.
Well, I did actually. I've lived in my house to my first wife, and then she left me.
He's lived quite a life.
It's quite exciting.
Wow.
Best decision she ever made for me. It was great.
Just going back to
probably shouldn't say that on the internet.
Edit. Just going back to
Scratch
thinking toys used to be much better than they are now. That's rose tinted glasses, isn't it? Like you look at Transformers now, they are breaky, they are bitty.
Yeah.
But modern Transformers, admittedly, they're tough to transform. Modern ones are, but it might be just because we're old and we can't do it anymore.
I couldn't do it then.
I know, you fat hands. But
so
with
the modern toys, then, do you find that the toys back in the 80s, the vintage toys, are better built? They were designed for playing with, whereas
no, it's rubbish. You can throw modern toys as far as you want, and they'll be fine. It's
wow.
I wouldn't do that with vintage; it'll come off the card. But modern toys, they're pretty much just as good, aren't they?
Yeah. What I would say is the modern toys that they're making for collectors.
See, it's fine. Came back absolutely fine.
Like the stuff that they're making for collectors, a lot of the companies tend to not put as much effort into them being quite durable. Like a prime example of this
Dungeons and Dragons.
Dirty Funko Pops.
Oh, them. Sorry.
Like everyone's collecting them and keeping them in the boxes, and Funko know this, so the arms come off. That they're just badly made, and that happens a lot with modern toys. Not all modern toy lines.
The new Dungeons and Dragons line, which is fabulous looking, it's beautiful. The designers have really put the time
onto the cartoon.
But then they're very breaky, so they break in the packet. So. But the same as we've got that Black Star Ice Castle behind us is probably the most breaky toy in the world, and that one's broken. We came back from Italy with it. We were filming Toy Shop on Tour 2, and it's bust. So I've got to buy another one off a guy.
So the old stuff did.
Oh wow!
So it did break. Much.
Just as much.
But it was made for kids back then, so they tried a bit harder.
We've got a gold plastic transformer up on the wall. You can't see it; it's just not a screen. But gold plastic transformer, that's like it's the only one I've ever had because of all. Well, it's not the only one I've ever had. It's the only one I've ever had that's been in one piece, because it's carded. But most of them, even on card, get broken.
That gold plastic syndrome.
So it's always been a problem. It's not new. I don't think there's any real people. It is rose tinted spectacles looking back at things, unless you're looking at dinky toys and stuff like that.
Now they have really last.
They definitely are.
Because no matter where you are, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, or YouTube, there's always someone moaning about the quality issues on certain products coming from Hasbro. These days. I mean, is that something that's been going on forever? Is that like an old
I think it's
thing or nothing new?
More so now though.
Yeah, because basically people like to complain.
Yeah, because before.
You'd just be shouting in the wind. Oh, I'm not very happy with this. And no,
that's it. Everyone can get their opinion out on the internet now, whereas we didn't have that back then.
And people form their opinions based off what someone else says on the internet,
which is not good.
It's kind of like it's good and bad. There's a bit of both and everything, and it's like that with certainly with
an example of that toys. Is suddenly that Warrock figure. Like he was perhaps a 60, 80 quid figure?
A bit more, about 80, 90. Yeah. The same as Romba, like 90 quid, 100 quid.
And then suddenly, overnight, the internet decided this is a really expensive rare figure.
Yeah.
And the next day, what was it like?
Nearly 300 quid for a loose one.
It's crazy. It's crazy. My grumble is, because I predominantly started collecting the vintage collection, like getting the Star Wars stuff back again, and I wish I had completed the whole 96, got all the last 17, because the prices now are just gone through the roof, and I wish I'd have got those figures before I got any of this new stuff. It's just incredible.
Yeah, but it's always going to go one way. I think it has. Probably now it's at the time of it's probably. Hopefully it will stay where it is and not go
possibly at its peak now.
Not go up anymore because it becomes inaccessible for like us as well, because we have to pay. Everybody thinks it's good for the dealers. It's not at all.
We have to pay more. The big money to get them in.
I'd prefer Yak Faces still to be 50 quid. Not
and that's
I wish I'd have paid 50 quid for Yak Face. Let me put it that way. Bloody hell. So going back to the quality issues, I mean, I know what you mean by the internet's a big influence on how people think. I mean, I got the HasLab Sky Striker, and now I know there was issues with it, with the front landing gear not going up properly and coming loose. the gun on Scarlet, that was there was an error on that, and I think a couple of the Cobra Commanders come with 2 left hands and something like that. So I've checked, and yes, the gun isn't right. I've got 1 right and 1 left arm for the Cobra Commander, and there is just the slightest bit of drop on my front landing gear. And all you got to do is just pull the lever at the back, and it just goes back up again. It's, you know, if I don't care, I don't have an issue with that. Now, I know people do, and I sympathise with that, because if you're paying that kind of money, then no, you shouldn't be getting in those kind of issues. So I can understand their frustration.
But you know when the Sky Striker came out in, what was it, 1984? Was it? The Sky Striker came out. Sky Striker is really breaky. The original Sky Striker.
They really are.
Yeah.
It's just one of those toys that it's just normally broken, and it's when you sell it one, you're like going, it's not as broken as others. It can be a little bit like
this
that.
is less broken.
This is less broken.
Well,
so it's
like the Cobra Rattler as well, isn't it? That was quite breakable. The landing gear on that was quite delicate.
The ASP, loads of the the ASP or whatever you call it, they're rubbish, absolute rubbish toy. That's the original one. So there's no difference. It's just the same. We have the same problems with old toys as we do with the new toys, and it's finding them in nice condition, unbroken. That's like, this is unbroken. It's unusual to find certain toys unbroken. What is it? The Claw, the Action Force G.I. Joe Claw.
Yeah,
they're really tough to find. You always find them. There's loads of them. They're all broke. G.I. Joes were terrible for it, actually. When I think of all the toy lines, I think probably because of the intricacies of the toys, they're probably one of the most breaky toys out of all of them.
They're definitely the most breaky figures, aren't they?
Although the bums fell off.
Yeah,
the bums fall off.
No, yeah, the O-rings. Yeah,
you can
definitely.
That's sortable.
So, moving on, next question. How did the toy shop come about?
How did it come about?
This is on you, this one.
Right. Basically, my wife at some point said, get this out of my house. Get all this stuff you've got on eBay and whatever else you've got it out of my house, and you need to find somewhere for it to live. So I got a market store, which was as cheap as it was for like a small storage thing. And my theory was, if I could take £20 in cash on the market store, I could eBay. I had a dongle. Remember those?
The old
dongle.
Oh, it was dongle. Good God, yeah.
Slightly above dial-up as regards internet. But I could list at least 2 or 3 eBay items per hour. So it meant I could eBay from home. And from home, from the shop, from the little stall. And then and that was how it started. We ended up with the little market store. It was £17 a week. That was a while back, but now they've knocked the market down because of our influence. They've decided to erase it from history. And we got a shop, and we just kept getting bigger. So we ended up with 3 market stores, and we moved to a shop. Then we moved to a massive shop, which was silly, and then we moved down here in 2012, and we've been here ever since on East Bond Street in Leicester.
It's just the right.
So
shop.
you've both been together all this time. Then how did you guys meet?
I only came in sort of in the past 5 years.
You've been a customer for
since
a long
the market
time.
store,
So Gav's been around as long as basically the stall has, but he's only worked here for the last, because he's a professional man. He's a professional draftsman. He's a highly desired designer of many things. So we had to poach him, kind of thing. And when the time was right, and Gav came here,
gave it all up for toys.
Yeah, came here, and we lured him in with financial means of minimal
minimal financial
and lots of hard work. And that was it. Really, it was a promise of toys. Really,
bribery. Was that an easy decision for you, Gav? Or...
Yeah, I was done with real work.
Yeah, come here
and pretend to work.
It is hard. We do work very hard.
We joke about it, and everyone assumes, a toy shop, they just sat around doing nothing.
No,
we are never sat around doing nothing.
We work 7 days a week, and we are never ever free. In fact, it's almost like a problem that you need a bit of free time. But no, we work 7 days a week, both of us, and it's hard work. But we enjoy it. And I wouldn't change it.
So the shop's open 7 days a week?
Nope.
No, 6 days a week.
6 days a week, the shop, but we're working 7 days a week. Because if you do like we do, we've obviously got a large online presence with the YouTube channel,
and the show and
the shows that we do. Gav does shows because he's obviously got his own business, not just the shop. So he does his shows with his Cool Locations Inc. I've got the sales page as well, which we run. So Sundays are normally spent, or Sunday afternoons for me at least, catching up with things, trying to catch up with emails. It's just non-stop.
Yeah.
We get about 100 messages a day on various different things. So trying to keep up with them and message people back. Sometimes people go, "Oh, yeah," to us, and you're like, "Well, it got buried. If you leave it for a day, the message is gone. It's buried."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough. It's hard work, but we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, of course you do. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, do you have a lot of custom? I mean, obviously you're quiet at the moment, but I mean, generally, what's
Not
the custom
today.
like?
Not today.
Well, no, yeah, I get that, but
It's good enough, keeps us going. Put it that way.
The shop pays for itself, and it gets us enough to buy more toys. You don't make a massive amount. Everybody thinks you're making a.
You're
huge
not going
amount.
to be a millionaire doing it like this.
Because the busier you get, the more successful you get, I suppose, the more people you have to have around you. So you've got extra people here working. At the moment, we've got Mark's over there building some Lego. Matt's serving any customers that might come in, and James is downstairs doing packaging from yesterday's. Actually, he's done the post, hasn't he? So he's busy sorting out next week's sale.
Yeah.
So
we've got a huge basement as well that is endlessly being sorted out.
We've got eBay today. We've got a list of things today. And every day's got a list.
Yeah.
And it's just like we're trying to get through the lists of every day. And if we can get them all ticked off,
it's a bonus.
That'd be amazing.
So with the job applications that you sent out and stuff like that, like advertising for jobs, was Lego building part of that? Was that in their job description?
We don't really have to do that because it's just friends. What happens is if you've got a shop like this, you attract people of the similar ilk to yourself. So we didn't put an advert specifically going
wanted master builders.
Are you a balding man wearing glasses? And we have a face to do. No, it was just people that we become friends with and that end up sticking around, and you end up with these people working in the shop, and it's wonderful. We're very fortunate that we have a lovely group of people that help us out. Tim, who's ever present at the weekends, he's always there every Saturday, the oldest Saturday boy in town. We've got Mark that comes in once a week to help us. Matt that comes in twice a week to help us. James who
comes in every day to
break things, especially. And James handles all our posts and stuff like that, which is a massive job. So we're very fortunate. We've got no end of people that come in and help as well. Batesy, Jay. There's a list of people, and it's lovely.
It's a
very fortunate.
little family.
Yeah, it's a very very much a collective.
So it's not. So quite a lot goes on behind the scenes then.
Yes.
Yeah, they do all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. Literally sometimes, particularly when my back had gone the other week, we had James up in someone's loft, dragging stuff down there, taking this cabinet off the wall. Huge, massive thing off the wall that I wouldn't have been able to lift. And James was like, I'll get it off. And not too much was broken in the actual process. Quite good.
Awesome. So with the shop, how did that then transpire into you starting a YouTube channel and doing the Toy Shop on Tour? Who was the brains behind that?
I got talked into doing YouTube. I didn't want to do it, but I was told I should, so I did.
It was initially just to show people around the shop and things like that, wasn't it?
But then lockdown happened. We got asked by a company to sell to film a show called Toy Store Near You, which we were episode 3 of season 1 of that. And Matt, the cameraman, had approached me about filming a film about Palitoy. So we'd started to make this film together anyway. I was, excited by it because it's about Palitoy, which is one of my main passions. It's about the buried toys, which is, again, one of my real, I've been looking for someone to do this with for so long. And, that film's still ongoing. We've actually got some progress on that. So we're quite excited about that at the moment, but more of that another time. And I approached Matt to do the filming with Nacelle during the lockdowns. So me and Matt filmed it down here. During the lockdown, Matt had a mask on, covertly filmed, sort of like because we were allowed to do it, but we didn't want to advertise it. So we filmed it down here, just me and Matt together, and sent it off, and it was reasonably successful. And it got me thinking, what else could we do? And then I thought of this Toy Shop on Tour kind of thing, and we initially planned America. We did it Kickstarter, which was reasonably successful. We funded it. We booked the flights. And then we went back into another lockdown, and we lost all the money, barring. We got 2 GoPros, we got the memory cards, We got a hard drive,
lots of kit, basically.
Yeah, lots of kit, and we've got one lot of flights that we've still got vouchers for, but we've got to use those vouchers before September, which we're going to do.
Yeah.
So we've got about 1,200 quid worth of vouchers for the flights, but we lost a lot of money because one of the airways we booked with just wouldn't give us any money back. They wouldn't do anything.
Unbelievable.
Where they're based, the laws were different. So, yeah, but that's kind of how it started, and it's been quite good.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah. I mean, because so you've been practically all around Europe, haven't you? You've been to a few countries and stuff like that. Was that previous to COVID, or was that obviously, or that was after COVID, wasn't it?
No, that came out in November.
That was the second series.
Yeah,
we just did the UK toy stores in the first toy stores in America.
You in America.
Toy shops in the UK.
Yeah, Legos. There.
Yeah. Which was good because, it was good that we did the UK first because we found our feet with it, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think if we'd have jumped straight into America, I'm sure we'd have made it work. But I think we'll do the American tour we're going to do will be a better series than I think it would have been if we'd have gone straight in.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I mean, Europe was really exciting. It was really good. We saw some amazing toys. Can't wait to go back.
Yeah,
can't wait to go back. I really, really can't wait to go back to Europe. But next up, big wise, we've got Texas, haven't we?
Texas. We're going to Texas.
Wow.
In June, is it?
All being well.
Yes.
June, start of June, we go to Texas, film a show there. Well, film a few shows there. Hopefully, a small series will emerge from that. We've certainly got
awesome
shops. It's amazing.
There's an incredible amount of shops in Texas. It's amazing.
Yeah,
fantastic. So,
it's really weird because I look at it and I look at America and I think, they've got these such amazing stores and shops where they do all these vintage toys and stuff like that. And we don't really have anything over here like that. And then obviously you guys with your shop and stuff like that, I guess it you got to know where to look.
America's quite big, you know.
I know America's big, but I wasn't.
That's why we did Toy Shop on Tour, to highlight
those shops,
all these UK shops.
And there's loads more now.
Yeah.
There's loads more. And there's loads we missed that we couldn't get to. There's loads which have sprang up. There's some on the northeast that we've never been to all this time. We went to the northeast not long ago, and unfortunately both of them weren't available at the time. There's loads, and there's a busy industry of guys trying to make a living doing this and having fun every day in their toy shops in the UK. But it's not. I think it's far worse if you go to the continent. If you go to, Italy, although the shops were amazing. The shops there was.
Yeah, they're spread out.
They're really spread out. We've certainly got. If you wanted to go to Birmingham, that area, and cover the shops around there, not including us, so you're not coming as far as Leicester. You could spend at least 2, maybe 3 days just looking around the shops. in Birmingham itself.
Shops,
So it's quite surprising actually how many are once you start digging. How many cool places there are to go. It's fantastic. And since we've done Series 1, I mean, there's at least another 10 shops around the UK that we could pop up. And I think we've only lost about 3.
Which is pretty good going.
So
really.
we're 7 up.
Okay.
So not bad.
Awesome.
A bit like Liverpool against United last week.
Yes, you come on the Reds, eh? Can't beat that. That's awesome. So what is the most unique toy you have seen on tour? And what is the most unique toy that you have in your collection?
Well, you could show them that now because you brought that.
This is something I bought. It came into the shop the other day, and it was a bit pricey for the shop, but I had to have it.
I'd have bought it though. I loved it.
Now I collect Tomy robots, and this is a Japanese exclusive one in Coke Red.
Oh, look at that!
How cool is he?
It's amazing.
That is awesome.
His little controller is a Coke can as well.
Oh wow!
And there are not many of them out there, not in that shape either.
It's beautiful.
So I just had to have it.
Yeah.
Straight out.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Wow.
Beautiful.
I'd have bought that. Gav's collection is so varied though. In fact, we're featuring that if you watch our Toy Shop on Tour. We're doing some shorts and they're called At Home With, which is our spiritual home of James's cafe next door. So we go in there and we basically we take a load of toys in
and talk about our toys.
We talk about our toys. And it's a nice way to feature all those toys from your collection and why you've got them. And you will see nothing really mainstream on that. No, it's all left field. Because we have the stuff that we love. We surround ourselves with it every day. So that, in the end of it, Star Wars and stuff like that, although I've got some, it's not as exciting for me because we've seen it so many times. I've had probably 2,000 yak faces through my hands. After a while, you get sick. You're like, oh yeah, another yak face, and it's all these figures that are supposedly really hard to get. Well, I've had a lot of them.
Yak face is not rare. You can go on eBay, buy a yak face now if you want.
Probably buy 10 now.
Spend the money,
pay the price. I bought myself something the other week from Sandown Park.
This is very cool.
Where we filmed
wow. Okay. Yeah.
We filmed a thing down there, which will be out next Sunday.
Yes.
So if you're watching this a week on Friday, it'll be in 2 days, 3 days.
Oh wow, yeah.
So you'll be able to watch that. It's out on Sunday, and that's really cool. We've watched that. It's very different. It's very TV.
Yeah.
We already know what we're going to change for next time, which means we're probably going to do it again. But I bought him. So
Cool.
So Tintin, they made this range of figures in the 80s. This is Professor Calculus. He's very cool. I love him. When I was out on tour, I'll put him in front of Gav's. And also, he, like me,
I'll tell you what, if you gave me a moustache and a little bit.
Yeah. See? What a mini Gav.
Awesome.
So I love him. And on Toy Shop on Tour 2, I bought from Lulu Baloo in Paris, I bought the Captain Haddock and Tintin himself from there, which is really cool. And I want more of these, but they're really hard to get in the UK. I got that for a small Frenchman at Sandown, which is one of the good things for toy fairs, particularly down south, particularly the Sandown show, because you do get the Belgians and the French and the Dutch come across.
Audience,
it's really good.
Because that was the first one of the year, wasn't it, at Sandown this year, wasn't it? That one a couple of weeks back.
The first Sandown.
I think, it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because that's that one. I would say that would be my local go-to because I'm just literally about 5 miles down the road from Sandown. So
you shouldn't miss one of those. Really, if I was 5 miles from Sandown, I'd be there every time.
No, well, it's I think we had other things on that day, so that's why we didn't get to go. So. But I mean, I'd like going there. I mean, you find some really interesting stuff. So when you go around to people's houses and stuff like that, you see bits and bobs. I mean, are you surprised with some of the stuff people have got in their collection, like the really rare stuff? Not like your face and your animals and stuff like that, but your proper rare stuff.
No, amazing. I mean,
when we went to Craig's the other day.
Yeah, Craig's 5 that was fantastic.
He had on one of our episodes, it's the last episode that came out, isn't it?
Yeah, the Wales one.
The Wales
one.
No,
the one after the Wales one.
Yeah.
The Monster Special.
The Monster Special. He had original artwork from like the Star Wars sketchbook, so the original hand.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
it was beautiful. And he had a lot of that kind of thing. So lots of Star Wars stuff, but it was the more unusual stuff, the pencil cases, the rubbers, all the little stuff that no one used to care about.
Erasers, just in case there's an American audience in. It was all that sort of stuff. And it was quite funny. It shows you really when you get to that stage of collecting. Craig got a load of carded Star Wars and you don't see them on the show. The reason why you don't see them on the show is Craig went, well, I put them back in the box because I thought they weren't really interested. Whereas most people would perhaps aspire to those carded figures. For guys that have been a long time, you go, well, I've seen so many of these. And instead of that, he's got, and he has got the normal stuff. He's got everything in these lovely cases.
He's got his full run. He's got, all the vehicles and everything. But it was these more unusual things that we wanted to see, and we wanted to show off, didn't he? We wanted to show stuff off. And
it influences us. Gav bought. Who's Gaz? Gav bought one of the items featured on the show the other day. And the good thing is we get to see it. So we know.
I'll show it. Let me grab it.
Go and grab it.
Cool. Can you pass me that up there, please? What it is, basically, it's a ceramic little Darth Vader bank.
Okay.
The design on. Do you remember the little pencil toppers you could get?
Yeah.
Basically, they based the design off one of them. And there it is. So it's like a giant version of the pencil toppers.
Wow.
So cool. They didn't use any, anything from the film. Yeah. They used the pencil toppers. And these are bootleg, aren't they? These are,
like what was that, 20 quid, 25 quid, something like that?
I think something like that, yeah.
But it's just, it's so it's unusual. You don't see it. And it's that sort of thing that sort of makes you kind of go, oh, that's the stuff I want. I want the C-3PO tape dispenser. I want the weird and wonderful stuff. And that's exciting. I want, some of the oddball items. One of my favourite Star Wars items is I think it's European. I don't think it's South American, but it's a Chewbacca, and it's got really, really clumsy green arms that have been put on it. Not like a green limbs, like they call it a green limbs. Not like that. Not like a Kenner figure. This is like a real knockoff, really cheap, and it's like pinned in. You can see the big, massive pins going to.
It's so cheap, so cheap.
Brown body, bright green arms and legs. He's absolutely amazing. I love him because he's just weird. That's the stuff I like. The weird stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say the only thing vintage and unusual in this place is my wife. Love you, dear, but no, she's all good. She likes that really, but
she won't be.
No, she won't be watching. She won't be watching. So, is it just toys you deal with, or is it like comics and cards and stuff like that? Do you deal with those?
Mostly toys.
Mostly
the odd
toys.
few comics.
But we are meant to be on the jobs list today. Is eBay comics.
eBay some comics.
And we do sell comics in the shop. Pound comics and stuff like that. And they're very popular, but no, it's not anything I'm ever.
But no, we don't focus on it. We don't go out looking for comics, and
He doesn't do reading.
You don't do reading.
No, I don't. No, it's the picture.
Fair enough.
Asterix and Tintin. That's a bit different. But no, I'm not. You like comics though, don't you?
I do, yeah.
But it's
just for me.
Yeah, we're not a comic shop. We're a toy shop.
Yeah, fair play. Is there a grail piece that either of you would like in your collection? Something that you'd think, I'll pay some money for that, and I wouldn't sell it. I'll just have that in my collection.
Yes, Dennis Fisher Stretch Monster, and I've had my hands on one on the first series of the tour. Where was it? Rams Collectibles in Herne Bay. Had a beautiful Stretch Monster, and he's still got it in the store now. But it was just a little bit too pricey. But it was amazing. It was still malleable. Oh, it was beautiful. It was great just to get it in my hands. But that's what I would love the most.
For me,
so how much was that roughly?
It was about $1,000. That one wasn't it?
Yeah,
oh,
bit pricey.
Yeah, it was a bit up there.
Yeah,
but if it was, I mean, it's not always about the finances either.
No.
I mean, it's like I want some of the adventure people, Fisher Price adventure people. Some of the stuff they didn't do, they did prototypes and stuff like that. I'd love some of that. It's even some of the guys that kit bash them now, and they sort of make these things up that were planned, and I love that. I love the fact that they've gone to that effort. I think for me, it's very different. I'll know it when I see it. It's always one of those things. I know it when I see it. They once did an Asterix village, which was part of a shop display for the Sedgy range. I quite like one of those. Because it's great because it's like in the cartoon. You look down, like in the comic. You look down on the village, and it's just all the houses are the same. You can see, you can imagine all the characters, and you can get the characters, so you can basically recreate that scene. And I've seen one of those for sale a long time ago, and I thought that'd be amazing. I didn't buy it, but now I would buy it. That would be something I like. But for the shop, it's always big play sets, statement pieces. There's that sort of thing. There's things that draw people in. I'll always buy certain things that we always try and get when we're out. If we're dealing with American dealers, we'll always ask them about Jawa sand crawlers. We'll always ask them about Kenner Death Stars. Yeah. Normally, it's all big, cumbersome stuff to post, and we don't really make any money out of them. We just
nice to have
just
them
enough
in.
to have them in, and we sell them for a little bit more than we paid for them after we've got all the tax.
And it gives us a chance to have a little play with them.
Yeah,
which is
and it's stuff that other people don't have, and that's what it's about. We want to have the best stuff that we can in our shop.
What would you say was the most popular items in your shop? What kind of do you have fads where, say, like for one example, one week it's all Star Wars, then the next week it'd be like Motu and stuff like that? Does it vary, or is it generally the same stuff that keeps getting sold?
Yeah, very much. It's the big lines, isn't it? That sort of flows between Star Wars, He-Man, Transformers.
You're only as good as your customers. You're only as good as your stock.
Yeah.
So we have customers that will come in here. I tell you what, we sell more than anything else, and we always forget about it. And because it's lower rent items, it's modern Transformers.
Yeah. We
sell so many modern Transformers.
Yeah, I mean, that's, we're saying modern within like the last 20 years.
Yeah, the last 25 years. So, £8 to £20 price point, that sort of stuff, that shifts.
There's a real collecting market for modern Transformers.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Modern Star Wars as well. Loose modern Star Wars seems to sell very well. Not just the Phantom Menace stuff. I mean, any of the Clone Wars era, that sort of sells.
That's really big, actually. Clone Wars is quite hot at the minute.
It was the 20th anniversary. Is it this year, or is it? Yeah, this year, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we sell a lot more modern Transformers than we do vintage. But my heart lies in the vintage.
Wow.
So I'll always do amazing vintage, or as good as I can, in the shop. But yeah, it's weird what sells, isn't it? But you're only as good as your customer. So if you've got we know dealers that will come to us and buy certain lines of us because we can't sell them.
Yeah.
And they've got regular customers for them. So it's not like a countrywide, it's just
and
localized.
And there's a lot of give and take as well. So those same dealers will bring us things that we can sell that they can't get rid of. So there's a lot of give and take between the trade.
Yeah, it is, because you're always dealing in sort of like with certain traders. We know that they will just bring a lot. I can't bother with that. That doesn't do anything for me. Because we're all collectors. I think I know 2 dealers that aren't collectors that just do it for the money.
Yeah, but
which is like always makes me think it's daft because it's not a very good way to actually earn money.
Well, you'd like to think someone would have a bit of knowledge about what they're buying and
they've got the knowledge.
Incredible with the knowledge.
Yeah, they've got the knowledge. It's just it's a business decision.
Yeah,
everything they buy, they look upon it. They don't keep anything for themselves.
No.
It's like one guy fell into it and sort of like he just found an amazing collection once and sold it all and went, hey, I can make some money out of this. Doesn't make them bad people. They're lovely people. But it's a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
We buy things because we like.
Yeah. Do you have any like Playmobil stuff?
No.
How popular is that? You know Playmobil?
It's not really popular at all. No.
Wow.
We've had bits in the past, but it's just sat on the shelves.
eBay. We've got some downstairs which is sealed stuff. It just needs to go on eBay because the Germans will buy it.
Yeah. There's not a huge UK market for vintage Playmobil.
No, they're really cool old vehicles. They did like a really cool like Unimog, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's great. All of it's really good toys.
Yeah, good toys.
There's no market. Yeah.
Nope.
That surprises me because I know they've done quite a bit of modern stuff, haven't they? Playmobil with the 18 van and stuff like that from the old pop culture stuff. But
they're a great toy line. There's nothing about that. It's just that in the UK there's not a collector's market
for it.
We wouldn't get into the modern stuff necessarily because there's a lot of other shops who just get that in. So for us, we try and have stuff that's a bit different to everywhere else.
The only things we order new in is generally vintage collection and Black Series.
Yeah.
Everything else is all come off the trade or off the public. We try not to have stuff that you can go and buy in Forbidden Planet or something like that. We don't.
Yeah. So how important do you guys think the packaging is? You know, like back in the day as a sales point. You know, entice the kids in back in the day. How important do you think the packaging is for toys?
I think, well, in the 80s especially, 80s and early 90s, the packaging, they put so much effort into the artwork on the packaging. And you look back on it now, and it's still incredible. The packaging now, a lot of the times, it's a little bit lazy. There's, sometimes a photo of the toy on the box, or, a standard artwork, a standard photo of the character. It's not as good, but it's, it's selling the toy still.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, toys, it's the collector's market for toys is, it's a massive collector's market. Kids aren't really buying toys like they used to.
No, they're not. They're not selling to kids anymore.
No, they're selling to adults that remember things.
Yeah.
They tend to be whatever we can get away with is kind of something I do think.
Yeah, our audience will buy this. Whatever we do with it.
Whatever we do with it,
and a prime example of that. And love them or hate them, the retro, them multicolored figures they did, Star Wars figures.
Oh yeah.
Oh God,
yeah. They were not for me. I know people like them, but I think that was lazy, easy money making for Hasbro.
Because all that is it's a financial decision. The designers at all these toy companies love the stuff. They design it and they put a lot of love into it. And I think sometimes it must be very frustrating when you've done. And I know toy designers that are customers of ours, and they can put all this work in, and then somebody in accounts will just basically go, well, that's all well and good, but we can do it cheaper. Like this, and we don't put that accessory, or we don't do that with them, or they won't change like that because that's too expensive.
Yeah,
so they've done all that working on this would be amazing, and then basically it's kicked back. That's always been the case.
Yeah,
I'm talking about people that used to work for Palitoy, people that used to work for old companies years ago, and the same was true then.
Where do you guys see the toy industry in 40 years' time? I mean, will there people like us in 40 years' time looking back with fond memories, nostalgia, or
we'll be dead? We're not bothered.
I honestly like kids are not playing with toys.
I won't
now.
see it.
Kids are not playing with toys now, and we're buying these things, and people are collecting these things because that's what we had when we were kids. Kids are now all about the technology and the internet and tablets and stuff. toys are not happening. One of the last big toy lines was what, Ben 10?
Ben 10.
And that was years ago now.
Yeah, is it 2004,
Something like that.
That's probably the last.
So in 40 years, there'll always be people who love toys,
Yeah,
but not to the same degree as
Pokemon's massive now. That will still be massive. I know people that are buying lots and lots of Pokemon stuff that are kids.
Yeah,
Adults that are 30 odd years old that are buying Pokemon as well. So that's something it will continue. It's just not going to be like it was. You aren't going to find people that have, will be able to talk stories about, using their Evel Knievel to jump over.
And also as well, like the collecting now, people are collecting and keep everything mint in box.
Yeah.
What people weren't doing that in the 80s, and that's what makes the toys nice to find. But in 40 years' time, there's going to be
lots of it.
Boxes and boxes and boxes of mint in box stuff that's out now.
Yeah.
And, it'd be too easy to get.
Yeah. No, it always sort of like fascinates me because you got like toy lines like Star Wars that have been going for like 40 odd years, Masters of the Universe, Transformers, G.I. Joe. They're all big toy lines. And I haven't, within the last, I'd say 10 years, seen anything that can rival that as much. I mean, I know you've got Thundercats, Turtles that come out a bit later. Yeah. But other than that, there's not really been any toy line that's come out and sort of like, we're going to match these guys.
No, it's because they don't need to now because the kids are not buying the toys. Yeah.
Well, it's a shame. Absolute shame. If there's one toy line going forward that you could only collect, what would it be and why?
Wouldn't collect.
No. 150 toy line.
It gets boring.
Yeah.
It gets boring. If you just do one toy line, it's boring.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
I mean, I understand there's people that do Star Wars, and that's probably the obvious answer. But I don't love anything enough to kind of just go with that one thing. I like to have, when I look at my shelves at home, I look at them and I'm very happy because it's all my favourite things from different toy lines. It's all there, and I know that I can cherry pick. So if I go to I want to buy myself something from Mask, let's say, then I can pick up one item that I really want or I really like, or Starcom or something like that. Whenever I see it, I can kind of go, yeah, I want that. I've got one generation one Diaclone in my collection. I haven't got many Transformers. I've got one Diaclone because it's a Diaclone. It's a different color to the normal one that you'd see on the Transformers packaging, and I like that. So I want different things. I don't want to just have one collection.
Okay, no, fair enough. I mean, because I know some people like they choose, but again, everybody's different. Everybody's got different opinions, and that's what's great about collecting for sure. I've seen you mentioned Mask. I do like a bit of Mask. I haven't got any in my collection as of yet, but do you have much Mask stuff in your?
Yeah, we've got
in the shop.
Yeah, sealed stuff. We've got boxed. We've got loose. We've got sealed. We've got quite a fair bit of Mask.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Right. Last couple of questions. What gives you that toy collecting buzz?
Find something new that I've not seen before. That robot from earlier.
Yeah, that was a buzz.
That was a real buzz.
I was buzzing for him when the guy brought it in, and the guy obviously he knew what it was. He wasn't cheap.
He'd watched the show, so he knew what he was bringing.
He knew what he was bringing. He said, "Oh, you might like this. You might like this." So all this stuff came out of his bag. And it was all stuff that he ticked every box. That guy, he was a lovely guy as well.
And that's what it is: finding something that you've not seen for years or you've never seen.
But I get a buzz every day. I am literally after this today. I'm meant to be going home early, but I know there's a toy collection coming in, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the guy gets out of his back of his car because you never know. And that's the joy of it. The joy of toys is going out, finding stuff, and being able to put them together. I think sometimes that's really lovely. Being able to actually get the parts and go, "Oh, this goes with this," and going,
"Oh, that's what's great." When we're pricing up figures, and we're having to find all the bits, and it's having a little play and really discovering the figures when you're having to research what weapons goes with what. You really appreciate what goes into everything.
If you ask any of the lads, and it's quite bad because I steal that joy away from them sometimes. When we were away filming Toy Shop on Tour 2, we bought a huge collection in here, and I was immediately like, put it all in the basement, nobody's to go through it, I want to go through it. And the lads here were like, and they kind of did go through it, but they kind of like left me under the illusion that they hadn't touched it. And they thought, and he comes back going, "Oh, that idiot won't know." And I did know. I knew because I knew. But that is what it is like, because you want to have that joy. For me, I was looking forward to getting back because I could go through that toy collection and pick through it. And somebody came in and I got a phone call saying this guy wants to buy this out of this collection. I'm like, but I haven't seen it yet. And then he went, he's offered this much. And I went, yeah, it can go.
That's
it can go.
Yeah. Do you get any times when people bring stuff in and you just look at it and think, well, there's not really much I can do with that? Does that happen often, or
every day? Yeah. Every day, and you just have to be polite. As long as you're polite to people, we had a glut of people coming in this week. Actually, 3 or 4 people in one day, and one lady got some nice things that we wanted to buy, but I kind of kindly explained that you need to think about it, speak to a family before she sold them. You have to judge the person, because sometimes it's not always clear cut. If it's someone coming in and making the decision, they've sent you an email, and then it's a bit different. But I think it's always letting people down gently, going, they're not for us. Have you got anything else? So that led to a nice conversation the other day, because this guy bought some 90s Thunderbirds things in, and we were like, I don't really want them, statues and things like that. And they're lovely, but they just really weren't for me. I just thought, this guy's not going to want us to offer 30 quid or something, which is kind of all we'd do, is put them in the 30 quid and then we'll put them to auction, and they might go for 60, they might go for 70.
But then that 50. Same collection transpired that he had a load of other stuff,
which was amazing,
which was awesome.
So he's bringing that in next week. So that's
cool.
Really cool. So as long as you deal with things right, and you're polite and you empathise and you help, maybe send this to auction. This wouldn't be for us, but it is worth something. I'm not saying it's junk. It's just not for us. So
do people come in and kind of expect a big buck? Do they come in and ask for reasonable prices, or are some people come in and say, "Oh yeah, I want so much for that"?
Sometimes people, look on eBay, want, oh look, this is worth this much. We'll give us £5 less than that.
And you're like, no, that's not how it works. It's sort of like that thing of going, well, okay, so if you sold an eBay, what would you get for it? Well, I'd get this. No, you wouldn't, because let's face it, you're looking at what it's for sale for, not what it's sold for. But most people, if you're honest and you show them what it's worth, you're able to buy it. There's different skills to buying things. It's not just about the money. Sometimes it's about the people you're buying off, which is, I'm a sucker for that sometimes. And sometimes the people come in and if there's a little old lady with a sob story, sometimes you end up with a load of railway that's worth about 300 quid for 500 quid. And you're like, what the heck have I done that for?
Some of the people we bought off have ended up being like real close friends of the shop.
Yeah, like Mark that's here now. Mark's collection, we bought Mark's collection in, and he played a blinder with us. He told us, he said, how much are you looking for? And he was like, well, and then we made him an offer, and he was like, well, I want a lot more than that. And so we had to up our price from what we wanted to pay to what we sort of thought he wanted. He played us for blinder, and then after that, he just went, well, I was down to the last 20 quid. And I was like, really? That was amazing. Because he just played a blinder. There are times, certain things, certain situations, and Mark was certainly one of them people we identified with straight away. Yeah. So it just depends on the person. There's no hard and fast rules. There's some people, if they're, I want to be careful how I word this, I choose not to buy off when they come in.
Okay.
If they've got like a, an
attitude.
Yeah. And there's,
and they can have really nice stuff.
Yeah. There was an old boy that came in to see us years ago, and his attitude was really odd. And he told me how much he wanted for this thing, and I said, well, okay. And I'd had previous dealings with him. He was always really unreasonable. And it's because he'd been told by someone else what it was worth, but the other person had tried to get it for nothing.
Okay.
This guy then told me what he wanted for it, and I said, well, that's fine, I'll do that then. And he was like, well, why are you doing that? I said, well, you didn't let me value it. I said, if that's what you want for it, that's what. And then after that, he became actually quite a good person to deal with, because he let me value things properly, and not the way his friend who was trying to rip him off. Because I paid him 100 and odd quid for something that was, to him, he thought it was worth that. And I said, no, it's worth 250. And then he was like, oh, and then he was on board then. He got into the idea that I'm going to tell him what things were worth. So it's just different things. You never know.
It must be really hard, because for you guys, because I don't know how I'd deal with it. If someone come in and said, "Oh yeah, this is worth this, this, and this, and this," and you look into it and you go, "No, it's not. It's only worth that." I mean, do you get much of that at all? I mean,
Yeah.
Do people go away disappointed? I mean, how do you deal with that?
No, we generally will explain it. We'll show them, what these same things have sold for.
Yeah.
And they generally understand.
You can't argue with facts. At the end of the day, if you're showing them something, they go, well. I mean, well, that's what it is. People, if the people argue at that point, it's like, well, there's not much we can do.
No.
Why don't you try here? Because all the toy dealers will be exactly the same. If not all the toy dealers, but all the toy dealers, if they're going to what they maximum can, it'll be exactly the same sort of price. That's it really. It's just, as long as you're pleasant with people, I think most of the time you're all right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Last question then. What does your collections mean to you?
Ooh. Well, mine's my collection I've been collecting my whole life, so
it's your life, isn't it?
It is my lifelong collection. Yeah.
I mean, I think my collection, what it means to me, I don't know. I've got kind of like a thing of going, it is what it is. It's toys. We're fully grown men collecting toys. Let's keep it in its proper place. I love this stuff, but I don't love it more. I can't quantify it by saying, I love it more. It's everything. It's all this. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not your family and everything you believe in. All that.
There's always more important things than toys.
Toys are fun.
Yeah.
You can always recollect toys. I love having toys around me. Otherwise, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do this anymore because the only way you do this is because you love the stuff. So yeah, that's it really. It's that's what I feel about it anyway.
Gav?
You?
It's I don't know. It's a strange question.
Yeah,
it's like I love everything I own. It's like I don't collect.
There's a story to everything, isn't there?
There is. Everything's got something behind it. And the way I collect as well, I only buy things that I really love. So like my lounge it looks a bit like this, but everything there is something, I'm not doing it to collect a full line of something or, anything like, oh, this is going to be worth this much money. It's all because it's something I love and it's like an amazing thing.
I don't collect for the value in future years. I don't collect for the value of what it is now. I collect because I like it. And it can be the weirdest things that I'll get excited about. The weirdest things that I will kind of go, I'm taking that. I know there's certain things that I will buy, and I just love them. I love them, and I love the stories behind them. If there's a toy designer that's coming and told me about a certain toy that he designed, and that toy will come in, I will keep that toy because it's then you've got the story to it, and it's all about the stories. All these toys have a memory, the joy that brought hundreds and thousands of kids joy back in the day. And that's what it's about. And it's like capturing a little bit of that. It's the warm glow of nostalgia, as we always say. Is what it's all about. But it should be kept in its rightful place. It's not life or death.
Oh God, no! It's perspective and everything, isn't there? But it's if someone can get a little bit of enjoyment out of something, then why not? Awesome, awesome, guys. I've got to say, I've really enjoyed chatting to you, and it's been really fascinating listening to you guys. Unfortunately, that's come to the end of the chat. Where can people find you other than your shop? What social media platforms?
Leicestervintage.co.uk will give you the links to YouTube, Facebook. Absolutely everything is on there.
Absolutely everything. Just click on there. You'll find us on Instagram. You'll find us on Twitter. You'll find us on Facebook. And you will find us on YouTube making more quality telly for you guys to watch as well with Toy Shop on Tour. And all the little things we're doing as offshoots. And the At Home with Toy Shop on Tour speaks about really all these memories, everything that's built up with these
everything
toys.
Like we've talked about here. So every Wednesday night at 8:30, there's a new episode of that comes out.
Yeah,
awesome. I will put your link in the description below, guys. Once again, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you taking the time, especially when you're doing it from the shop itself. That's pretty cool. So really interesting chatting to you guys. Thank you so much. This has been Joe and Gav from Leicester Vintage Toy Shop. And just want to say thank you, everybody, for watching. Take care, speak soon, and see you in the next video. And bye for now. Thank you.
Bye.